So I'd like to start off by thanking you for taking the time to hear out my opinions and concerns. I'll be focusing on the serious lack of health care at the Ottawa-Carleton Detention Center. In 2012, I gave birth to my son Gianni in a segregation cell after hours of begging and pleading for help. I was ignored and ridiculed, which eventually led to the very risky birth with no doctor present. It has been almost 4 years, and not one day goes by that I don't replay that day in my head. I think what bothers me the most is how easily it could have all been prevented. Between the events of that day and the loss of my son, I can honestly say I've never been so traumatized in my whole entire life. And I now live with post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and severe anxiety. After 3 separate investigations in the jail after what happened to me in 2012, I was told there would be serious changes for inmates. Since 2012, OCDC has continued to be in the news due to the awful conditions, the lack of health care, and the excessive use of long periods of solitary confinement. So it is in my opinion and strong belief that not only has not much changed, but it seems to be getting worse, and that is not acceptable. With that being said, I'd like to address the following. Addiction is recognized as a disease, but for some reason it does not seem to be treated as such. From my own personal experiences and what I've seen time and time again, it has not ever been handled properly at the detention center. Addicts who come in should be seen as soon as possible upon their arrival by a doctor. Instead, they are usually thrown in a segregation cell until they hopefully snap out of it. We know for a fact that severe withdrawal can cause many side effects. Seizures and death in some cases are some of them. They should be followed by a doctor until they are completely cleared. There should also be some type of counseling to help towards rehabilitation, which would lessen them relapsing and probably prevent them from returning to jail. Methadone is also a huge issue. Inmates should have their medication within 24 hours. Making anyone wait longer than that will cause withdrawals, which will continue to worsen with every day that goes by. I've seen people wait up to 5 days before receiving their dose. Not only are these people going to be extremely sick, but after missing 3 doses, by missing 3 doses, they then are returned to a very low dose to start and have to work their way back up at the dose that they were at. There's absolutely no valid reason why anyone should have to wait that long. There's the issue of people's medication being stopped by the jail doctor. I can't think of any good reason why that should ever happen. If you're lucky to see the jail doctor for a few minutes, which is not long enough for them to decide to take you off of any prescription that has been prescribed to an inmate by their own physician. If an inmate wants to see a psychiatrist, they require a referral from the jail doctor, and more often than not, those requests are denied. All inmates should have access to mental health professionals, and it should be at the discretion of that professional whether they should be continued to be seen. A very concerning issue is the treatment of inmates with severe mental health issues. They are usually kept in segregation because the staff does not have the proper training or simply does not want to deal with them. Keeping them in segregation is likely to only make their conditions worse or even add to them. Solitary confinement is supposed to be used as a form of punishment, which I believe should be completely eliminated, especially extended periods. It should only be used as a last resort method for someone who is a serious danger to themselves or to others. Also, taking their mattresses away from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m., leaving them with only a blanket and a Bible is just ridiculous and needs to be eliminated altogether. Which leads me to a very important issue and something that I've been fighting to change for the last year: the treatment of women who are pregnant. They should have access to all the same healthcare options as they would if they were not incarcerated, and nothing less. As soon as they feel they need help or need to be taken to a hospital, there should be no questions asked. There should be a very clear protocol for that issue alone. With that being said, any inmate that needs medical attention or needs to go to the hospital should be taken very seriously, and they should receive that care. It should not be up to a correctional officer who is not a healthcare professional to ignore or deny them that right. After reading many reports, After reading many reports, my own included, I see the same common factor in all of them. They also could have easily been avoided. I personally feel like things are not changing, and they will not change because there is little to no accountability. Any person who is in a position where they are responsible for the well-being of others and chooses not to ensure proper health care should not only be reprimanded, but should be relieved of their position immediately. People's lives and their health care are at risk, and that should never ever be taken lightly. I'm asking you today to hold those responsible accountable, especially when they are behaving negligent and recklessly. In my opinion, everyone is one mistake away from being on the other side of those bars. So today I'm not asking you for sympathy, I'm asking you for empathy. Ask yourself how you would expect to be treated, or how you would expect your loved ones to be treated if they were in that situation. I hope to see positive changes from here on out, and I thank you again for giving me this opportunity.